Hello, hello, good morning. I am really hoping that I can see your guys' comments today. I couldn't yesterday and it drove me crazy. So hopefully today it works. So if you're here and you've hopped on, please say hello so I know right away if I can see you. I'm going to go ahead and do the stuff on my... Good morning! I see the message. That's so exciting. It was so frustrating yesterday not being able to see. Hello, hello. I'm just gonna do my little stuff on the back end. Hello, I can see everybody today. Yay, that makes me excited. Whew, it's stressful when things don't go right, you guys. It makes me crazy. So look, I wore my Harry Potter-esque glasses today. And look, I even had a Gryffindor tie. I have all kinds of weird stuff laying around. I like when I can go with the theme. Yay, I'm so good I can see everybody. So good morning. Thank you for coming. It's Wednesday. I like to announce that because I think half of us don't know what day it is. We are drawing Harry Potter today. And we're drawing him as a Funko Pop. So I'll show you in just a second what it's going to look like. We are definitely doing Bigfoot someday. I just saw that. Like, world's greatest... What do they say? Shelter-in-place champion. I see some quick questions. So I'll go ahead and answer them. Black pens. I use one called Faber-Castell. Faber-Castell. You're seeing that backwards. Sorry. And then I use Sharpie. Staedtler is another brand I like. There's a link to all the supplies I like. Micron is great. So yeah, you can see the links to all the supplies that I like that lives in the topic supplies I love. So get familiar with the topics. They're those little gray bubbles. They move around and then you can select topics and there's like announcements, welcome messages, supplies I love. The albums are in there. Your birthday is today. You saw me on the news. Well, happy birthday. Okay, so let's see. I don't really have that many announcements. I'm Stacy. The website is live. We've created a website, so if you want to check it out, Draw with Stacy. I did post a little tip today that shared with you how to add your pictures to the album. So when you are done with your drawing, please try to add your photo into the Harry Potter album. If you forget, please post it onto the page. Don't leave it in a comment thread. In the comment threads, they just get lost and people can't see them. So if you want to let your art be seen, then please put it on the on either the page. This is the drawing for Harry Potter, or put it directly into the album is super helpful. You can also follow me on Instagram, also under Draw with Stacy. You can link to it from the website. And you can also share your art with me there too. So I post art, and Dwayne just gave you a link. Okay, so Harry Potter. We're doing Harry Potter. This will probably be a little bit more advanced, a little more technical than some of the others that we have done in the past. So if you find you're getting frustrated, please just watch the video and then go back and watch it again and pause it when you need to. So instead of just getting really frustrated and irritated because that defeats the whole purpose of drawing, then go back out or just finish watching the video and then watch it again and pause when you need to pause. That's super helpful. I know sometimes we go really fast. I can't make these videos 3 hours long, so I have to kind of keep up a pretty consistent pace. So I'm going to show you what a Funko Pop is. Does everybody know what a Funko Pop is? Do any of you collect them? I have a little small collection of them. If you're frozen, go out and come back in. So a Funko Pop is this little guy. So there are these, his wand is broken. But you can buy these in a lot of different characters, and they have these big eyes, and they have like somewhat simple features. So they end up making a person a lot easier to draw. So if you have a favorite character, most of the time you can just search the name of that character and Funko Pop, and it'll come up, and then we're recreating this in a drawing. So it's a really fun way to draw people and not have the stress that comes along. One of the hardest things for people, I find, is getting the face right and also getting hands. And while we will have some hands on ours, the face is super simple. I mean, it's a triangle and 2 circles. Maybe some eyebrows, some details, but that's what we're doing. You do see them at Target. Target has lots of them. So I'm going to show you the drawing. So I'm going to flip this around. So this is the drawing that we're going to be doing today. So we're doing Harry Potter as a Funko Pop. We're doing him in his robe with a wand. I am doing my paper vertical. You could draw him horizontal. You could draw Harry Potter, and then you could go back later and add some of the other characters around him. So if you want to add more, you could turn it this way, make him smaller, and then draw some of the other characters, draw his buddies along with him. Okay, so that is our drawing, and like I said, we will have a little bit more detail you can see is in this. So if you need to, then just go back and watch it again later when you can pause, okay? So let me get my fresh piece of paper. Today we are going to need paper, a pencil, a black pen, and then an assortment of colors. I'm using black, brown, a skin tone, a red, and an orange. So to get started for Harry Potter, I'm going to start with his head. And Funko Pops, that's the kind of fun part of them, is they have this kind of oversized head, and it's kind of like a block. So you could do this one of 2 ways. I'm going to go. You could make a square, or I'm sorry, more of a rectangle, if that's easier for you. Start with a rectangle, and then you could go back and curve these. We're going to do a lot of erasing of lines today, and I'm actually going to erase some lines while I'm drawing just to avoid some of the confusion. So as you can see, sometimes instead of making this shape, trying to freehand this curved shape, just draw yourself a rectangle and then add the curves later, and then you can erase those little corners. And when you erase those corners, you have the Funko Pop shape head. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Or if you want to just practice that shape yourself, you can just draw that shape. Now, I actually want this to be a little bit bigger. I made it a little bit too small. So I'm going to take this line and I'm going to come up a little bit more. I just need a smidge more room. Again, make my line across. I like to leave my mistake line in there so I don't go in the same spot. Add my curve. Corner, and then I can erase those little extra bits. And I'll go ahead and erase this line inside because I'm going to add his face in there. So there, to me, that's about a good size for Harry Potter's face. Okay. So next I'm going to do his eyes, because the eyes on the Funko Pop are one of the most prominent pieces. And they're just big circles, and they kind of live really close to the outside of the head, each side. And they're about halfway down. So somewhere when we have our imaginary center line right here, I'm going to draw 2 circles. Big oversized circles over here. I'm going to move this one in a little bit. I'm going to move this one a little because Harry Potter wears glasses, and I need to make sure that I have room on the sides for those glasses. So this one I'm going to erase. And I'm going to just move it a little bit more in, just a tiny bit. There, and now I have his 2 eyes. The only other detail aside from his glasses that he has on his face is this little triangle for a nose. And that's his nose. Okay. Now we're going to do his glasses, and his glasses are going to go around his eye. So just a little bit away from his eye, I'm going to draw another circle going all the way around his eyeball. And then over here, we're going to add another one. And these are going to be the inside line of the glasses. Instead of making 2 lines here, an inside line and then another outside line, I'm just going to, when I use my pen, I'm going to make this outer line really fat. That way I don't have to draw more lines than I need. I can just do the standard shape of his glasses and add some thickness to this line when I have my pen. And now I need a line that connects them. And then I need a line out to the side of his head on each side. And there, now he has his glasses. So now I need to give him ears, and his ears are going to come up. I'm actually going to bring these glass lines out just a little bit. Can you see that? I'm coming just a little bit beyond the edge of his head. So I'll do the same over here, just coming a little bit beyond the edge of his head. Because below this line is where his ears are. So I have an ear here. And from this line, I have an ear here, because the glasses sit on top of his ears. And now I'm going to build his hair. So his hair actually is going to kind of come up above this headline I've drawn. So from this ear point, I'm going to come up. I'm going to do some little hair accents, these little triangles, which just kind of makes it look like the hair is a little bit messy. I'll do one right here. Come around, give kind of a little point on the top of his head. Let's do one over here. And then come back down. If I'm blurry, you need to go out and you need to come back in because you're having connection issues. So now I have the top part of his hair, and now I need to do the inside. So the inside, I'm going to kind of swoop up. Now he has that lightning bolt, and I want to leave room for it here. So I'm coming up, and then I'm going to curve it down and come up again. And now I'm going to give him kind of swoopy bangs. So these are going to be these little points that come down and then go down by his ear. And so now, if you erase all of these inside lines, you have your Harry Potter head, just like that. Lastly, on his face, I'm going to do a circle inside of his eye for light, one on each side, and his lightning bolt. And there you go. You can't see half his head. I'm not sure why you can't see half his head. I can see it on my screen. Oh, because I'm covering it with my hands. Well, sometimes I have to move my hand in the way of the image and then I move it out of the way. If it's blurry and pausing, just give it a minute or go out and come back in. I don't really have anything on my side. It might be the internet connection. Or if there are lots of glitch issues, you know, I have my my phone it's connected straight to my phone. If it's very glitchy, then you can always just go back and watch at the end, because sometimes it's Facebook is having issues streaming it. So once it's finished, you can go back and watch on the end. I'm pausing for just a minute to see if it'll catch up. I'm going to type a message, is having connection issues today. Once. Post in full and okay, I just typed you guys a message. I really don't have a way. It's still streaming live on my end. I'm going to see. Sorry, guys. Is it better? Now it's clearer? Okay, so if a lot of you are in West Sacramento, it could just be the internet right now. We all pretty much have the same internet. My phone is not connected to the internet, so my broadcast looks really good, but when I look at it on my computer, which is connected to my internet, it was getting very blurry. So it is quite possible that a lot of us are just having internet issues. Again, if it keeps going, if it keeps happening, then you can always go back later and watch the video in full. It will post at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going. We took a real long pause there. So I want to do his body now. So his body, has all these details, okay? You have his body, his legs, his feet, his arms, but I'm going to try to make it a little bit simpler for you guys, and we're just going to start with a shape, okay? Kind of like we did with the head, we're just going to start with a shape and we're going to build off of that. So, coming in from about these 2 points on his face, I'm going to come at an outward angle, almost again like I'm making kind of a triangle. I'm going to come out, out, and I'm going to go ahead and curve this a bit and connect those two. Okay? So I know that looks silly, right? So now we can add some details here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the 2 legs. So inside of this shape, I'm going to put another triangle shape. One here and one here. So it almost looks like I'm making a block letter A. And I know that looks really funny. It doesn't even look like, you're like, Stacy, what are you doing? That doesn't look anything like what you just showed us. So now let's erase this line. We don't need this one anymore. Remember how I said we're going to erase during the drawing a lot today? Well, here we go. I'm going to make the line of his pants just a little bit curved here instead of being a real dramatic point, and I'm going to erase that little point. So now from here, I'm going to go ahead and give him feet. So his feet are going to curve and come down, his shoe, a line coming back around, and then a line coming from the back to connect. Same on the other side. A shoe, curve down, come back towards the ankle, and a line to connect. And I'm going to go ahead and give his shoe a little detail down here. So a line with these little, the soles of his feet. So see, now we're starting to see a little more the shape of his body. So now I want to give him his arm. I'm going to start his arm. So the arm on this side is the arm that's going to be holding the wand. So this arm coming from almost the edge, right where it starts to curve up, I'm going to create a line coming out. And then kind of in a half moon shape, another line down, and then let's bring it back to the body. So there's his first arm. His second one is just kind of hanging down at his side. So we're going to have this one come down, over, and then back up to the side of his body. And now I can erase these 2 lines. Sometimes when you're drawing and you're looking at something, instead of looking at a whole, look at it at parts like I just did. If you break it up into shapes, it's sometimes really easy to build off of those shapes. So now we have what's actually starting to look more like a body. And yes, I can see the comments now. I'm going to give a little pause here. so you can catch up a little bit. Okay. Hands. Hands are maddening. Sometimes hands drive me crazy and I will do them over and over and over again. So if you don't like the hand, just keep going. Just try it again, okay? So first thing I'm going to do, since this, if you hung your hand down at the side of your body, your thumb, everybody do that, hang your arm down by the side of your body, your thumb is going to be closest to your body, okay? So the first thing I'm going to have is kind of a curved line, and then I'm going to, my little hot dog shape, I'm going to loop it back around, and there's his thumb. All right, so that's a thumb. Now, how many other fingers do we have after we have our thumb? We have 4. So I'm going to do, we're just going to call them little hot dogs. So I'm going to do his pointer finger is next, and I'm going to do that one in full, and it's going to be longer than the thumb. So there's his pointer finger. Now the next 3 fingers, I'm going to build off of this finger. So the middle's a little bit longer, comes up. Then we have the ring finger, which gets a little bit shorter again. And then we have the pinky again, and the pinky is going to come all the way back into, and now we have his hand. Now sometimes I don't like the way the hand looks, and so I will shorten the fingers a bit. Like I feel like this is too long, so I'm going to make the thumb a little bit shorter. I'm going to make the fingers a little bit shorter. So see, I'm just kind of cutting them off a little. And then I'll go back and I'll erase. And there, now I like that better. So leave what you had originally and then just rebuild it. And there we go. There's hand number 1. Hand number 2 is a little bit more complicated because hand number 2 is holding something. So what I want everyone to do is I want everyone to hold their pencil. Okay, you're holding your pencil like it's a wand because this is what we're looking at when we're drawing this. We're holding our pencil like a wand. So what happens? Our thumb is on top and we just see the edge of our other fingers. Okay, so from here, I'm going to do the thumb first. So I'm going to come out, and then I'm going to do that little hot dog shape of my thumb right there. I don't like the shape of that ton, so I'm going to change it just a little bit, round it off a little bit more, and now I have that thumb. And now I need those other fingers that live on top. So I'm going to do 4 ovals, and each one is going to be, or 4 little hot dogs. Each one's going to be a little smaller. So one's going to start here. It's going to go right on top of the thumb, or behind the thumb. And then the next one. And this one's going to come around. We're going to see it peeking out behind the thumb. And the next, a little shorter, and the next, and that's our pinky. So now I have this finger, which is behind the thumb just peeking out, and then the next 2. And now I just need to have him holding something. So now in comes his wand. So his wand is kind of living behind these fingers. So I'm going to put the end of his wand down here. And then remember how we pretend like we're drawing a line through, but we're not. But when we get to the edge, we drop our pencil. That keeps things lined up. And we're going to do the wand to a little point and then coming back down so it's in his hand. And there we go. Now we have him holding his wand. Give you just a bit to catch up, and then we will do his robe and his clothes. But see how we're getting closer? Remember how he looked so funny when I just made that weird kind of A shape? Now he actually looks like a person. And I've seen lots of requests for other drawings. I saw Hello Kitty. I saw lots of other Harry Potter characters. We will add all of those to our list. We have a big list going on things to draw while we are doing these classes. The thing with Funko Pops is they never really have a neck. It's just the head on the body. If you want to give them a neck, you can. But with Funko Pops, that's kind of the humor of them, is they're kind of neckless. Neckless. Okay, so now we are going to make his robe. So the robe is coming out from the body. So this is his leg line. So I'm actually going to have the robe come out. I'm going to come a little bit down his arm and make a line. All right. And then I'm going to bring his robe in, and it's going to come about halfway into his leg. So I'm just going to curve this a little and come halfway into his leg. And then it's going to come right back up to the tip of his head. And I actually want this to come in here a little more so I have more room for his tie. So I'm just going to start up here where I want that line to be, and I'm going to come down and meet up with the robe line down here. So see how I made a mistake? I made it too wide, and then I just go back in and fix it. And now I'm going to erase that line I don't want. And I'm also going to erase all these funky inside lines. So there we have our robe. And I'm just going to kind of do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to take a line from a little bit inside his arm. I'm going to come out a little, about halfway down his leg, come in, and then bring it up. And then I can erase that where his armpit was extending. I can take that out, and I can take out this little fine inside line. And look at there. Now I have his robe. So see how we took that one funny shape and we just keep building off of it. That's a lot easier to do than drawing and just saying, okay, I'm going to start drawing his robe. It's sometimes easier to build on top of and then erase with your pencil. That's why we use a pencil. So now we need to give him a waistline, the edge of his pants. So I'm just going to put a line right there. There's the edge of his pants. And then I'm going to give him, he's wearing a V-neck sweater. So right a little bit down from the base of his head, I'm going to draw to a point. And then I'm going to take that point back up to the other side. And now he has a V-neck. And now his tie, he is going to have a tiny little curved like neck or shirt line right here. So at the base of his head, he has this small line. And then I'm going to do a little diamond shape off. So it's a line coming out, a line going in, back up to a point, and then back in to connect to the top. So that's the top of his necktie. And now his necktie just has two lines coming out, one from each side. And there is our Harry Potter. I'm just going to do this little patch that's on his robe, his Gryffindor patch. So I'm doing a little point, and then I'm doing a circular shape below it, and that just gives a little patch. Does that help? I can't really slow down or the videos end up really, really long, so I give you a couple pauses here and there. If you're struggling and you need it to go slower, then watch it again once it's finished in full, and then you can pause it whenever you need to pause and catch up. So there he is. We have his necktie, his patch, his robe, his wand, and that's our Harry Potter Funko. All we have to do next is outline him and color him in. Yep, there's the Funko Pop. This one is a different version. He's wearing tennis shoes and he's wearing a sweatshirt and holding a globe. His wand broke off. I did the version where he's wearing the robe. So that's a Funko Pop. You can put him right there. And you can see him maybe. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start doing my outline. Oh, his eyebrows. See, I get forgetful, you guys. So his eyebrows, which means I'm going to move where his lightning bolt is, because I want eyebrows up above his glasses. I'm going to do eyebrows. I'm going to do a little tiny line, really small, and then I'm going to follow the curve of his glasses to a point, and then very narrow, I'm going to follow until I meet the point, and there's his eyebrow. Thank you so much. One on the other side. Turn this page a little bit. Follow the curve of the glasses. And then bring the other one and meet that point. Now I'll add his lightning bolt above that. I had to move it just a little bit higher because of the eyebrows. The stripes on the tie, we will do those. I'm going to just add those in the pen, when I do pen. So when I outline, I'll do those details. Oh, I guess I can leave that there if you guys want to see it. Except it kind of makes a bad shadow. Funkos don't have a mouth. Look it. No mouth. Just a tiny nose. That's it. So let's go ahead and start with our outline. So I'm going to start up here with the hair. Just going over all the lines I want to keep, which most of the ones I don't want to keep, I've already erased. So when I'm doing more complicated drawings, I'm typically erasing the lines that I don't want to keep while I'm doing it, so I don't forget and accidentally put in a line I don't need. And his glasses are on top of his ears. So see, I'm just going to use my pen to color that in and then do his ear. And then on the other side, his glasses. We will definitely be doing a Mickey and Minnie Mouse drawing. You're welcome. And then I'm going to go ahead and do his face, the rest of his face shape, back up to the ear. Just like that. And SpongeBob. SpongeBob's on our list. The triangle for his nose. I'm going to do this line that connects his glasses. And then remember, this line is my glasses line. And I'm going to try to make it just a little bit thicker by going around it again, just a little bit inside. But I need to make sure I have space for that eyeball. So the glasses. I'm going to make that a little thicker. Just a little bit, color this part in, and there are his glasses. Draw a pineapple, of course. So I'm going to actually use a smaller pen. This pen for me is very thick, and I want to make sure that I get this eye on the inside of his glasses. So I'm going to do a smaller pen to outline this eye, so I make sure that I don't touch those lines together. And I'll do that circle inside. I'm also going to use this smaller pen for his eyebrows. So same thing, smaller, skinnier pen for those eyebrows, so I have a little bit of space left that I can color in brown. There we go. And let's give him his scar. I'm going to go ahead and do his robe next. No mouth. Funkos don't have a mouth. And we can do a narwhal and a snail. We will do all the things eventually. We have lots of time right now. 5 drawings a week. That's a lot of opportunities. Draw his little patch. I'm going to do that little neckline and a tie. I'm going to do this V first and then do the bottom of his tie. And using that skinny pen I had again, now I'm going to go ahead and do those stripes in his tie. And I can color those different colors. I'm not going to do much detail in the patch because it's very small, so I'm just going to do some of that. I'm going to color it in a color, and then I'm going to just add a little bit of red into it. So you'll see that once I start coloring. Now let's go ahead and do his hand. So we had his thumb, his pointer finger, and then those fingers that are kind of building off of it, coming in. You could do a mouth. If you want to give him a mouth, by all means. You don't have to make him exactly like this. You could also give him different color, get different kind of eyes, and then you've still drawn Harry Potter. You've just drawn a different version. I'm just drawing him so he looks like a Funko Pop, but you can make him look even a little more realistic if you want. Like I said, today we're just doing Harry Potter. We will do other characters later, but you could use this same general idea, and if you look online for some of the other characters, you could draw some of them next to it. So now let's do this hand over here. Again, I'm going to do that thumb first, and then the finger that's behind it, the other finger that just comes around. I can't tell you how many times I've drawn a hand and all of a sudden I'll look and I'll think, oh my gosh, I only gave it 4 fingers. I like to leave a finger off all the time. But the fun part with cartooning is that's kind of okay. Because cartoons a lot of times aren't that realistic anyway. I mean, just like this Funko, he doesn't have a mouth. So he could easily have, 4 fingers and it wouldn't really make that big of a difference. Let's do that shoe. And the little lines in his sole of his shoe, which you don't have to do. I'm just doing it, adds a little detail. Sometimes I like adding little tiny details here and there. You could also do some like little accents in his pants if you want. We also are going to make a line of color. He has a gray sweater, but it has a red stripe, but we're going to do that at the end. So there is my Harry Potter, and now he just needs his colors. I am first going to go back in. I do have areas where there are lines, so I'm going to go back and erase any of those pencil marks that I didn't land right on top of, so they don't get in the way of my drawing when I'm about to color. Areas where I changed his hand, or a lot of times when you're outlining, you just don't end up right on the same line, and that's okay. So let's do all this first, and then I'll start coloring. Ooh, Nancy Drew, that's a good one. Yeah, we don't have that one on our list yet. Most of the things you guys mentioned, they're already on a big list we have, but I haven't heard Nancy Drew. It's fun to do the book characters, especially if you've read the books. Have you guys read the books too, or have you just seen the movies? I know my son watched the movies a lot, long time before he actually started reading the books. On a Funko Pop, the color of the Luna Lovegood is on the list. On a Funko Pop, the color of the eyes are black. So they're all black with just this little white light inside. And if you're actually looking at a Funko Pop, you really don't see how when we're looking at this, we can see these little like white reflection marks. It's kind of what we're drawing when we do those lights, those little area of lights. All of our eyes pick up light. So even if our eyes are blue, we usually see little areas where light is reflecting off of them. I saw a request for a more realistic version, and I just really don't draw that. So I am what I consider to be more of a cartoonist. So all of my drawings are going to have more of an animated look to them. I do sometimes that maybe have a little bit more realistic, you know, they just have a more, let's say, slightly more normal looking eye. But I am not a realism drawer at all. I practice it, but it's just not my style. We all have a style that we tend to be drawn to and better at. So there we go. There are his eyes. Now all the other things that are black, his robe, his shoes, I'm going to do those with the pencil. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first because there's a lot of black in this drawing, and I'm going to do his robe in black. Oh, you're watching all of them during quarantine. That's a good idea. I think it's fun too sometimes to watch it while you're, you know, read the book and watch along with it a little bit, or read it and then watch it, or watch it and then read it even. They're really fun. To do. Katniss, I will definitely add that onto our list. I'm not sure that's on there yet. I'm seeing Jojo Siwa, Tom and Jerry. Remember, when you're coloring, I'm kind of coming along that edge line and then going more in. I'm always kind of following a line. I'm going to go ahead and do this shoe. Just kind of tackle one side at a time. Has anyone here done all of the drawings with me so far since we started this? Anybody do everything? I have read and watched all of them. I have not done any April Fool's Day jokes on anyone. You're welcome. It's okay if you don't do them live. It's okay if you even miss some. It's just fun to see. I'm starting to recognize kids, especially the ones when you take a picture and you're in it, or your parents take a picture and you're in the picture too. I'm really starting to recognize people. I start looking for people. I notice, hey, I didn't get a drawing from them. And I think we've done, oh gosh, how many have we done? This will be the first, no, last week was the full week. 9, this is number 12, I think. No one quote me on that. I mean, I couldn't even remember to draw his eyebrows on. I can't count. So last week was, I think, our first full week. We did drawings Monday through Friday. And then the week before that, we had a drawing Tuesday through Friday because Monday was just when I announced the group. And then now today is our, I think, our third week, but our second full week. How confusing is that? There are extra videos. There's 2 more than that on the page because we do our adult sip and draws on the weekend. So there we go. Now I have all of his black done. And let's go ahead and do hair. I saw your message, Kim. That's okay. There's lots of kids. I know a lot of you are kids right now who are on here, and you're probably on your parents' Facebook account because they were nice enough to let you do this. So let's just remember, keep our comments nice. Let's make them, about the art at hand or about this group. Keeping them positive. Hair color. I am doing kind of a dark brown for his hair. And I'm going to use this color, the dark brown, I'm going to use it for his hair, and I'm going to use it for his eyebrows. So see, I'm just kind of coloring along those lines, especially when I have, shapes that are changing. What is my favorite drink? I love drinking water. I drink a lot of water every day. And then probably if I'm not drinking water, I don't really drink a lot of soda, probably coffee. My favorite food is any sort of Mexican food. His scar is red. We're going to add that color at the end. So now I'm just lightly coming in to his eyebrows. And I'm going to use this same brown for his wand. We will put a Harley Quinn on the list for sure. I think Harley Quinn is already on the list, actually. So now we have the brown done. And now I need a gray. His pants are a dark gray, which if you don't have a dark gray, you can just use the gray you have and push a little harder. If you're doing crayon or you're doing pencil. Or maybe you make his pants a different color. Maybe your Harry Potter is wearing pink pants. Sometimes Harry Potter's mark has a little bit of a redness to it because it's a scar. So it's kind of like a pinkish mark on his face. I know we have lots of kids here. Lots of kids. So it's just important to remember to be kind in your comments. Don't be mean to yourself or others. I see lots of people sometimes who say, my drawing looks terrible, or I didn't do a good job. And you can't say that. Everybody's art is good. And the more you do it, you know what? The better you'll get at it. I see your comments sometimes and you'll say, how do you draw so good? Well, I'm 44. I've been drawing a long time. And I practice. I'll do it over and over and over again. Sometimes I'll draw the same thing multiple times just to see if I can do it a little bit better than I did it the last time. So now I'm going to do his sweater, and I'm doing his sweater a little bit lighter of a gray. So I'm just pushing a little bit lighter, a little softer with my pencil. Don't say yours looks so bad. I bet it looks great. We are our own worst critics. We always think the worst. A lot of times we have to stop doing that. Because I bet if you showed me yours, I would think it looked great. So now in his sweater, he has this kind of red line down here. And he has a red line at the V. Have you guys ever looked at an artist called Pablo Picasso? He sometimes made the craziest stuff. Sometimes you'll see art and you'll think, oh my gosh, I could do that. But, you know, it's all in, everybody has their taste. Everybody has the art they really like. So no one's art is bad art. We're all different. I'm doing the stripes in his tie, one red, and then I'm going to get the orange. Or it's kind of a yellow, actually. I'm like kind of a gold. Yes, Picasso was awesome, but then there's some people who would look and they'll think, that isn't art. All art is good art. Oh, I just broke that one. Let me get a different one. That. There's his tie. And his shirt stays white. I'm going to leave that white. And now I need to do his skin. So I'm using kind of a skin tone, kind of a peachy color. And just going in, I'm going to color in his hands. I agree. I love him too. I love all art. I love going into art museums and just looking at all the different kinds, even the kinds that might seem somewhat silly or might seem like, oh gosh, I could have done that. But that should just remind us that we can all create art, all of us. We're all artists. That little neck area. So now I'm going to do his ears. I'm going to do the small areas first. I'm going to do this area inside of his eye where you can see between his glasses and his eyes. On both sides. Everybody does have a special style. I do have a pet. I have two. Well, I actually have a bunch. I have 2 dogs. I have 2 chickens. And I have a rabbit. And I have a 9-year-old son. I think, can he be classified as a pet? Sometimes he acts like an animal. I like Luna as well. When did I start drawing? I started drawing as early as I can remember. I've always been drawing. I have, stuff that my mom saved from when I was in school, and I have drawings, as probably as far back as 4 and 5, and I'm sure I was drawing before that. I've always loved art. I've always loved music. Those were always my two favorite things. I'm going to make his nose a little bit darker so it just stands out a little. And then I'm just going to add the faintest bit of pink along his scar. And there is you're 9 and you go to Stonegate. So is my son, and he's also 9. You guys probably go to school together. And there is our Harry Potter, our Funko Pop Harry Potter. So here's one, and there's the other. Yep. My son does draw, not all the time. He's more into music, but he does draw with me every now and then. For dogs, I have a lab and I have a French bulldog. So there's my Harry Potter. He's all finished. I'm just going to write my name, my age, and where I am from. And that is it. Last quick announcement for the birthdays today. I have Audrina, Reagan, Stevie, Ariana, Michaela, Natalie, Carter, Fisher, and Casey. So happy birthday. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for celebrating with me. I'm going to flip you guys around again. Ready? Whoop. Thank you so much. It was another great day drawing our Harry Potters. Remember to post yours directly into the album if you can, or on the Facebook group. You can also find me and tag me in them on Instagram if you want me to share them there. And it is all found at Draw with Stacy. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is our late drawing at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Bye.